Hey everyone, how's it going? Forrest here, again with another installment of my complete analysis of all of J.S. Bach's chorale harmonizations. Today we're looking at Jesu meine Freude. This is a pretty famous melody in the Lutheran tradition. Translates to Jesus, my joy. That being said, chorale's pretty interesting, has a couple of quirks about it that have, this particular harmonization has its own unique little nuances and idiosyncrasies that make it special. So we'll just hop right into analysis. One sharp in the key signature, we start on E minor, we end on E major. I reckon we're in the key of E minor. We start off with a tonic triad with a passing tone in the bass. We have G, D, G, and B next. That's a G major triad, which is our mediant in the key of E minor. We have a passing tone in the alto. Then we have C, C, E, and A. That's A minor in first inversion, which is 4-6, with a passing leading tone connecting the 6 to the tonic. That's a pretty common gesture that Bach does in his chord progressions when he's connecting 4 to 1, E, B, E, and G, which is our tonic triad. Oh, and our first cadence is a perfect authentic cadence in the key of E minor as well. We then have A, C, E, and F sharp. That's F sharp minor 7 flat 5 in first inversion. Bach loves his 2-6-5 chords. And then we get B, B, D sharp, and F, which is a B major triad in root position. And we're passing 7th in the tenor before we cadence on E minor, E, G, B, and E, our tonic. Now the next cadence is maybe the most interesting cadence in the whole chorale. We have it sounds like a half cadence, but I'm going to analyze it as an imperfect authentic cadence because that's just the way it makes sense on the page. We have like a melodic minor fragment going on here, but I really think that this B major chord that we cadence on is kind of double functioning the same way that we get a B major here that's also double functioning. So we start off with an E minor triad again, and this phrase looks akin to the beginning of the next, akin to the beginning of the first phrase, so I have no reason to think that it's going to modulate until we get this C sharp after the second beat. So we have E minor here, no need to reanalyze, passing tone in the bass, G major here, G, D, G, and B, which is a 3 chord, which in the key of B, I'm going to call 6. And B minor is a nearby key to E minor. It is adjacent on the circle of fifths, so it is a likely destination for Bach to go to. We then have F sharp, A, and C sharp, and this is kind of an interesting chord. Now, you might be tempted to call this a minor 5, because the C sharp, that would be like a harmonization. It'd be some weird harmonization of where we have the C sharp, but we don't have the A sharp yet, which is kind of interesting. Right, because we have like melodic minor in E here and melodic minor in B here. So there's something interesting going on. But I think really what's happening here is we have G, B, G, and C sharp, which is C sharp minor 7 flat 5 without the third. So that would be like 2, 4, 3. So I think that that's more likely what's happening here. And it's also coming from 6. So I think that we have 3 accented non-chord tones here. And that goes to A, C, F, and D sharp, and D sharp diminished, or fully diminished, which in this case would be 7-4-3 because it's in second inversion. This would be the leading tone to 4, the leading tone chord to 4, because E minor is now our 4 chord. But instead of getting E minor, we get E major, E, G sharp, and B, which is an uppercase 4 in first inversion. And we see Bach do this quite often in his minor chorales, or just sections that are in minor in general. We get A sharp, C sharp, F sharp, and E, which is F sharp 7 over A sharp. It's 5-6-5. And then we cadence on B major. We would expect B minor, but we get B major, which is going to coincide with an elision, or a common chord, moving to E minor. It's also going to function as our dominant, and it'll do the same thing later on in the B section. And our next cadence is a perfect authentic cadence in the key of E minor, We have G, B, G, and E, which is our tonic triad in first inversion. A couple of passing tones in the bass and the alto. E, E, B, and G. Just taking that E minor triad and reinverting it to root position. Then we have B, E, B, and F sharp. Be tempted to call this some type of 1-6-4 chord, but no, I think it's actually 5, and this E is an accented non-chord tone that resolves on the next beat. And then it becomes B, D sharp, A, and F sharp, which turns into a 7 chord on the harmonic rhythm. We have an anticipation here in the melody as well, before we cadence on our tonic E minor. Okay, next phrase ends with a perfect authentic cadence in the key of G major, but I don't think the modulation happens until later. Yes, so starting things off, we have an E minor triad, E, E, G, and B. And I'll remark the 1 because it's a new system, so it's like if we're reanalyzing a chord that is adjacent to another one, I typically don't analyze it, but if it's adjacent and then the formatting of the score breaks a line, because the I has to move, I'll usually start things anew here. We have some passing tones in the bass and the alto again, and then we have G, B, E, and B, which is E minor over G, so that's another E minor triad, this time in first inversion. And then we have a neighbor tone here in the alto as well, before we get C, A, E, and C. And this is, I think, in and around here is where we're starting to modulate. But we have A minor over C here, that's 4-6. And I think you can say that you've modulated as early as here because we have C, D, E here in the bass, which would be less indicative of E minor, but this honestly sounds like a 4-7-1 to me in E minor, because if you take the passing tones here, we have D, F sharp, A, and C, which is like a 7-7 chord that goes to E minor, E, G, G, and B. You could analyze this in G as a 2-5-6 progression, but that's not what it sounds like to me. It still sounds like we're in the key of E minor, but I will call this E minor chord 6 in the key of G though. We then get C sharp, E, G, and A, which is A7 over C sharp. That'd be 5-6-5 of 5, because A is the dominant of D, and D is our dominant in the key of G major. We have D, D, F sharp, and A, with an anticipation here. Just a 5 chord. And then we cadence on G, B, D, and G, which is our tonic triad, G major. Now the next phrase is interesting. We have another cadence. It's a perfect authentic cadence in this case, but it's just like this B minor phrase here, where we start off in B minor, and then we cadence on the major tonic, which then is repurposed as a dominant in the key. So we have G, D, G, and B. That's another G major chord in root position, but in the key of B minor, that's also 6. I think that was the chord that we used to modulate as well, so there is some congruence between the two sections. So we have a passing tone, or more specifically a passing 7th in the bass. We have E, E, G, and C sharp. That is C sharp diminished over E, which is 2-6. 6 going to 2-6, that's a good sign. It's kind of a similar progression that we have here. And then we have F sharp, A sharp, F sharp, and D. Now this is a super interesting chord. Now the bottom half tells us F sharp major, but the top note tells us something different. This is D augmented in first inversion, so 3 plus 6. So this is just a substitute for 5. It just has a D instead of a C sharp. So that's kind of interesting. Passing tone in the bass. We have D, B, F sharp, and B, which is our tonic triad B minor in first inversion. C sharp, A sharp, G, and E. That's A sharp diminished over C sharp, which would be 7, 7-6-5, fully diminished. Before we get D, B, F sharp, and D, which is another tonic triad B minor in first inversion. Passing tone in the bass. Before we get F sharp, B, F sharp, and C sharp, we have a suspension here, or an accented non-chord tone. It's F sharp, A, F sharp, or A sharp, F sharp, and C sharp. Just a 5 chord, the late 7th here, before we cadence on our major tonic, which also happens to be our dominant in the key of E minor. And our last cadence is a perfect authentic cadence in the key of E minor, but we have some other interesting things going on here, where we have this elision of melodic minor here, but then we have some other fragment here where we have B, C sharp, and D. So this idea of D going on here, and then we have E here, and it creates a really interesting sounding phrase. But starting things off, we have B, G sharp, D, and B, which is G sharp diminished over B. That would be 7/6 of 4, because G sharp is the leading tone to A. Then we get some passing tones. That would make E, G sharp, C sharp, and B. So C sharp, E, G sharp, and B is like a passing C sharp minor chord, but I don't really, or minor 7. I don't think it's really contributing too much. It's more coincidental. We have D, G sharp, F, and B, which is taking the chord, putting it in second inversion, and adding a 7th, so that would be a 4/3. No need to reanalyze with the Roman numerals. And then we get C sharp, A, E, and A, which is our 4 chord. However, because of the C sharp, we have a 4 major chord. We see this in melodic minor because it's just a harmonization of the melodic minor scale with that raised 6th. We have some passing tones here. This in the alto and the bass. This C sharp is a chord tone of the previous chord, so we don't need to mark it. But we have D sharp, F sharp, A, and C, which is D sharp fully diminished in root positions. That would be 7/7, the key of E minor. And then we have E, B, G, and G, which is our tonic triad root position. A sharp, C sharp, E, and F sharp. That is F sharp 7 over A sharp. It's 5/7 of 5. More specifically 5/6/5 of 5. Let me go ahead and erase that so that's a little easier to read. 5/6/5 of 5. Then we have B, B, D sharp, and F with a passing 7th here in the tenor. That is B major, which is our dominant, the key of E minor. Then we cadence on E, G sharp, B, and E, which is our major tonic. We use the Picardy third, or Bach uses the Picardy third often due to the fact that minor chorales. He wants to end on, I'd imagine, a more uplifting note. But that is today's chorale. All in all, some interesting progressions going on. I think this section right here where we have 6 going to 2, going to 7/4 of 4 here is really interesting. The fact that that same progression gets repurposed here in the key of E minor towards the end is also really interesting, or a variation on that same progression. Other than that, I think more or less the harmony functions the way we would expect. This augmented median's pretty interesting. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty straightforward chorale. A little bit more on the angular side, but still pretty tame. So it was a delight to analyze after a long day. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. I release a new analysis every single day. I'm going through the Bach chorales right now, and there are hundreds of videos in the future. So if you're interested on going on the journey with me, or interested in going on the journey with me, feel free to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you're getting notified when I upload videos. Thank you so much again for watching the video, and I hope you take care.